Hello and welcome back to Full Count, where I've been ranking teams from 30 to 1. And if you clicked on this video, you know that in the number 8 spot, I got the Boston Red Sox. They had a good year last year. I predicted last year that they would win the division. That did not happen. The Blue Jays won. I believe the Yankees were second, and the Red Sox were third. Won't make that mistake again. But they did make some cool additions this year. You lose Alex Bregman, which is definitely a big loss, both to the clubhouse and to the lineup. But you had Sonny Gray, you had Ranger Suarez, you had Wilson Contreras. Really fun offseason for them. And yeah, we'll get right into it. I'm going to start off with the lineup, then we'll get into the pitching, and then we'll get into the over-under. So stay tuned to the end for my pick on the over-under. Starting off in the one hole, leading off for the Red Sox this year, is going to be left fielder Roman Anthony. If you clicked on this video, you know that Roman Anthony is a star. Last season, at the age of just 21 years old, he hit 292 with a 396 on base and a 463 slug for an OPS of 859. He had 8 homers and 18 doubles in just 71 games. He put up 3.1 WAR in 71 games. Folks, that is nuts. There is a bit of swing and miss. He's going to strike out a bit, but that's pretty much the only negative about his game. I fully expect that if he plays a full season, he will have 25 or more homers and 40 doubles, which is awesome for a 22-year-old. I love Roman Anthony. It's a short segment because he's a simple player. He's just young and he's good. Simple as that. Now in the two hole, shortstop Trevor Story. Trevor actually had an awesome season last year for him. He was really bad in terms of making contact at the plate, but he really did produce. He hit 25 homers and 29 doubles in 157 games. He was healthy, which is always refreshing for the game of baseball, but yeah, he hit 263 with a 308 on base, 433 slug for an OPS of 741. It was by far his best season in Boston because he was healthy, so that's great for Red Sox fans and great for Trevor Story. He's a pretty bad defender there at short, so that's obviously not great, but this guy can run, though. I haven't even talked about the fact that he is a valuable base runner. He stole 31 bags last season, which is pretty awesome for him. It was a good year. We'll see if he can repeat it. I just hope he stays healthy because the game's better when Trevor Story is playing. Now in the 3 spot, DH Jarren Duran. He had a ton of triples again last season, which is always a fun thing with Jarren Duran. He had 13 of them. He also had 16 homers and 41 doubles. It was absolutely a down year from him, but that doesn't mean it wasn't good. He hit 256 with a 332 on base and a 442 slug for an OPS of 774. Like, it still wasn't bad. But he has so much more in the tank. He finished 8th in MVP in 2024, so we know the type of player that he can be. Jarren also stole 24 bags last year, which was down from the 34 in 2024, but still solid. There was definitely too much swing and miss last year, and that really hurt him in his production, but I think he'll solve that this season. I like Jarren Duran a lot. He's a good player. Then in the 4 spot, batting cleanup, first baseman, one of their additions, Wilson Contreras. Wilson is showing no signs of slowing down, and I think playing in Boston will help him tremendously. He was able to hit 20 homers and 31 doubles last season. He had 257 with a 344 on base and a 447 slug for an OPS of 791. Pretty good production, especially on that bad Cardinals offense. I think he's going to have a big year in Boston, and he's going to love the city. He has an elite bat speed, and he's really just elite in all power aspects of the game. He also graded out really well at first base last season, which is also fun. I really like Wilson Contreras, and I think it was probably the most underrated move of the entire offseason. That's my hot take. I think he's going to produce tremendously in this ballpark with this team. Really, really looking forward to seeing what Wilson Contreras can do in a Boston uniform, especially getting out of St. Louis, who had like one of the worst lineups ever last year. Now in the 5 spot, Wilyer Abreu will be playing right field. This guy's won back-to-back Gold Gloves in right field, and he kind of raked last season. He hit 247 with a 317 on base and a 469 slug for an OPS of 786. He's a dog. He hit 22 homers and 17 doubles in the 115 games that he appeared in. Really solid production for a guy who is also elite in the field. He ranked in the 94th percentile in range, or outs above average, same thing. 97th in arm strength, so he can gun guys. I really like Wilyer. He's pretty patient at the plate as well, which is always a plus. He's got a solid bat speed. I think he has 30 homer potential in one of these years. He's awesome. Really like him in the 5 spot here. 1 through 5 is a really good start to this Boston lineup. Now, the 6-hole third baseman, Caleb Durbin. This guy finished 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting last year, and the Brewers said, nah, we're good. We'll just give him to you. Last season, Caleb Durbin hit 256 with a 334 on base and a 387 slug for an OPS of 721. He had 11 homers and 25 doubles. He's an elite contact guy, which was kind of the whole story for that Brewers lineup. He's not going to strike out. He was 98th percentile in strikeout percentage. So, like, quite literally, he's not going to strike out. He's not going to whiff. He's going to square the ball up. I will say, although the metrics don't hate him at third, I think he looks incredibly unnatural over there. He's the furthest thing from smooth at third base, like, of all time. He kind of rushes his throws as well. Really don't like him there, but the metrics don't hate him, so I mean, not a negative there. I'm interested to see if that affects him this year, like kind of the unnatural ability that he has over there. We'll see. But the Red Sox did get a good play. They got a good ball player in Caleb Durbin, and he's a dog. He doesn't strike out, and I love that. Now in the 7 spot, center fielder, Ceddanne Rafaela. This is my favorite player on the Red Sox. I'm wearing his shirt right now. Let me just show this thing off. Look at that. That thing is awesome. This guy is so much fun. Ceddanne. He has the energy. He's as elite as it gets defensively, and he can do it at multiple positions. He's really just an awesome player. Last season, he hit 249 with a 295 on base, which isn't pretty, I know. And a 414 slug for an OPS of 708. He had 16 homers and 34 doubles. He also stole 20 bags, which is fun. He ranked in the 99th percentile in fielding run value. Like, he's quite literally the best defender in the league. And he's versatile at that. The outfield this whole outfield defense is incredible for Boston. I mean, you got Roman in left, Wilyer in right, who won back-to-back Gold Gloves, and then Ceddanne in center field. The only outfield defense that might compare to this is either the Cubs or the Yankees, probably. Yankees with Bellinger in left, Grisham center, Judge right, or unless Judge is DH and whatever. And Cubs with obviously Pete, and then Ian Happ's won, 4 Gold Gloves in a row, and then right field Seiya. So those are probably the only ones that compete with this defensive outfield. It is really, really good. But then you add a guy like Duran out there if needed, if one guy goes down, so they'll be just fine. And or if an infielder gets injured, you got Ceddanne who can slide into the infield and be awesome there. So kind of my rant about Boston, but the bat has a lot of questions with Ceddanne. But you can't really argue with that production, especially with what he brings on the defensive end. I love Ceddanne. I think I made that very clear. Like him in the 7 spot. Moving on to the 8-hole. Second baseman Marcelo Mayer. He's definitely a guy to be excited about as a Red Sox fan. I think he's a damn good ball player. He's just 23 years old, and we got to see 44 games out of him last year. They weren't a great 44 games, but they weren't awful either. He hit 228 with a 272 on base, which is glaringly bad, and a 402 slug for an OPS of 674. He had 4 homers and 8 doubles in that time. There's really not much to talk about with last season. I do like him moving to second base, though. I think he'll grade out well there. So you're really just projecting on this guy based off of what he's accomplished in the minors. He was a big prospect for the Red Sox, and he always hit in the minors. So I think he's going to be solid at the big league level, but I can't say I'm necessarily counting on him here. Still think he's a solid guy to have in the 8 spot of your order. I'm excited to see what he can accomplish this season. It should be fun. 9-hole catcher, Carlos Narvaez. This guy is here for his defense, and his defense is plenty. He was 97th percentile in caught stealing last season. He's a really good framer as well, and he blocks almost everything. So he's really solid back there, which is the most important part here for Carlos Narvaez. Now, in terms of the bat, he's basically just a little below average. That being said, last year was pretty good production from your catcher. He hit 241 with a 306 on base and a 419 slug for an OPS of 726. He hit 15 homers and 27 doubles, which is solid for your 9-hitter, but also just solid for your catcher. He's just a really good ball player. I think 1 through 9, this lineup is really solid. It's one of the deeper lineups in baseball, especially if Marcelo is who we think he will be. So I like it. Boston Red Sox lineup. And then you got Tristan Casas and Romy Gonzalez, who are injured. Looks like Romy will be back in late May, which is a big-time addition when he comes back. Tristan Casas, I don't even know how to feel about him. So I'm not going to even say anything. In terms of the bench, you got backup catcher Connor Wong's fun. Masataka Yoshida could hit some bombs there in the DH spot. Andrew Monasterio came from the Brewers. That guy's pretty solid as well. I will say on him, Brewers fans really don't like Monasterio. I don't know why, but I know I saw a lot of Red Sox fans excited about him, and Brewers fans were kind of like, hey, slow down on Monasterio. So wouldn't get too excited about him. And then you got the Hawaiian Hustle, IKF. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is also on the bench. So kind of like the bench pieces as well for this Red Sox team. Now, getting into the starting pitching. It looks pretty awesome. Probably the best depth in baseball on the starting pitching side. It probably goes Red Sox, then maybe Cubs in terms of depth on starting pitching. So let's get into it. In the one spot, Garrett Crochet. What a monster season for Garrett Crochet last season. He finished second in Cy Young, and he probably would have won it all in a lot of other years. He threw 205 innings, which led the American League. He struck out 255 guys, which led the entire league. He went 18-5 on the record, and I know people don't care about that, but I mentioned it. He finished 8th in MVP voting. I don't know what else to say. He was elite. He was top 90-plus percentile in all these categories that I'm about to name. Pitching run value, fastball run value, breaking run value, expected ERA, chase percentage, and strikeout percentage. He was just elite. It's simple as that. They locked him up for 6 years, which is just huge for Boston. Roman Anthony, I believe, is locked up for 8. Well, probably not 7 now. But, yeah, Garrett Crochet is going to be good for a long time as long as he stays healthy. I also think I kind of just ignored the fact that he threw 205 innings. First off, that doesn't happen much these days. And second off, he was a guy that people, including myself, were really worried about getting the innings. But he did it. He was awesome last year. If Tarek Skubal didn't exist, I'd say he'll win the Cy Young this year. And I mean, he still has a very, very strong chance. So, love Garrett Crochet. Obviously, we can move on. In the 2 spot, Sonny Gray. Now, if there's anyone I worry about on the starting 5, not starting 5, but you know what I mean, the rotation, Sonny Gray might be that guy. I worry a bit about him in this ballpark, but I love Sonny Gray. Now, although I love him, I think he's a great starter. Last year was pretty far from being great. He threw 180 innings with a 4.28 ERA. I do expect him to be right around there next season as well. I think he's going to pitch better than last year, but he's going to run into some homers in that ballpark, if that makes any sense at all. He doesn't walk anyone, which I always love. He gets his strikeouts. He gets chase outside of the zone. He's got the stuff. His sweeper's incredible. Batters hit just 151 against it last year. He is one of those guys that throws a million pitches, and he honestly uses them all at pretty even rates in comparison to how other pitchers go about like a large repertoire like he has. I like Sonny, though. I definitely think he'll be an above-average starter, which is all they really need because this guy they have next is pretty awesome. And that guy is Ranger Suarez, who they signed this offseason. Ranger threw 157 innings last year with an ERA of 3.20. Big loss for the Phillies. He's just a really solid starter year in and year out. I think Boston fans are going to love this guy. I think they're going to absolutely fall in love with Wilson Contreras, like I mentioned earlier, given his energy. But I think they'll also fall in love with Ranger Suarez and kind of his sort of nonchalant nature on the mound. He was 98th percentile in hard hit percentage last year, so nobody hit him hard. 95th in average exit velo against him, so just another reason to back up the fact that nobody hit him hard. He just limits big time contact, which is obviously a huge thing. It's your goal as a pitcher. He's a career 3.38 ERA guy, and he's very consistent his whole career, so I think you can count on that again this year from him. Great signing for the Red Sox. Really like Ranger Suarez to help them in the pitching depth. Now, speaking of the pitching depth that I keep going to, this is a guy that's in the 4, Brayan Bello, who would probably be in the top 2 on most rotations. Such a big Brayan Bello guy. I don't even know why. I love watching him pitch. He threw 166 innings with a 3.35 ERA last year. He was really, really solid. He gets a lot of grounders, which if you've watched the other episodes, you know grounders are my favorite thing ever. He's not a big strikeout guy, but that's fine. He's just a really solid pitcher with a good pitch profile. His sweeper is pretty nasty, and I like his changeup that kind of goes against it. Like the sweeper comes here, changeup's here. I think he needs to walk a little less guys this year, and if he does, this season is going to get so much better. He's a great pitcher, and I absolutely love him in this 4 spot in the rotation. As for the 5, they have Johan Oviedo. Now, I really don't expect Johan Oviedo to be the 5th guy here. I'm going to name off the innings and the ERAs of all the options that I would put as the possible 5. Johan Oviedo, 40 innings with a 3.57 ERA. Tanner Houck, 43 innings, 8.04 ERA. Connolly Early, 19 innings with a 2.33 ERA. Cutter Crawford, 183 innings with a 4.36 ERA back in 24. And there's also Patrick Sandoval, but he's injured. There's also Peyton Tolley, who threw some innings last year, and he has nasty stuff. So, like I mentioned, I mean, here's where the starting pitching depth just is so unbelievably good that it's not even funny. So I have no worries about this 5th spot because someone is going to be awesome in that group, and they're going to fill in just fine. I think it's going to be Connolly Early. I really do think that's probably their guy. I've seen some projections where he is in the rotation, so there's definitely a world where he is just in the rotation. So I think it's probably Connolly Early, Johan Oviedo. Kind of cross out that name. Don't worry about it. As for the bullpen, it was awesome last year. You got Aroldis Chapman. He was historic last year. Garrett Whitlock is also awesome. Justin Slayton's really good. Greg Weiser, I really like. And yeah, that's kind of the names that I would look for in the bullpen. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the over-under is 87.5 wins for the Red Sox. This is the hardest over-under that I am going to have to do in all of these videos. I'm starting to look at this, though, and thinking to myself that I probably should have had the Red Sox as a top 5 team when I ranked them. I didn't even realize going into this the amount of pitching depth that they have. The lineup does have some questions, but you add Wilson Contreras. Obviously, you subtracted Bregman. If Roman Anthony is who we think he is, that's obviously a big time piece there. So I feel like it's an over. I feel like I should have had them in the top 5 for sure. 87.5 wins. I'm going to say they win 90, right around there, low 90s. I'm going over on the Red Sox. I've done a lot of overs in these videos, but I'm kind of realizing I messed up on the Red Sox. They should have been a lot higher in my rankings because that starting pitching is unbelievable. So yeah, definitely going over on this one. Low 90s. Going to be a tough division. I do think the Blue Jays are going to regress a lot, and I do think the Yankees are going to be very good. I think the Rays are going to be decent. But yeah, I mean, we're just going to have to see. The Orioles obviously got a lot better, so it's just a packed division. But I kind of got to go over here. I mean, I like the Red Sox. I'm obviously wearing my Say Don shirt. Got to go over 90-ish wins for this ball team. And yeah, that is what I got for you guys today. I want to appreciate you or thank you for watching if you made it this far. And if you like the stuff, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And feel free to use that SeatGeek code if you're trying to hit any Boston Red Sox games this summer. Thank you guys for watching, and go Sox. Peace.